Me again. So we're going to do a little bit of work back on those gauges again. So, as one of our subscribers said, I think it was Nick, quite rightly stated, you know, when I put the extra gauges in, why don't you just put them into the opening where the stereo should go on the H bracket? Because that is a structural piece. It's designed to obviously strengthen between the dashboard and down to the chassis rails. And you've got an opening in that where the old radio used to go. That'd be perfect for a couple gauges. And I thought, quite, yeah. So yeah, basically, I'm an idiot. Why didn't I do that? Don't know. Didn't think about it. So we're down at the workshop today. I have my H bracket. Like the rest of the car, it is filthy. It's covered in grime. You probably can't see it very well because of the light, but it is absolutely hanging. It needs a really, really good scrub and clean. And then the plan is get her cleaned up. We're then going to cut a piece of aluminium to go in as a backing plate with that. Punch our two circular holes in for our gauges in there. And then what we'll do is we use a little bit of that walnut wrap I've still got from doing the dashboard. Again, it looks very dark in here. I'll show you outside later. And we'll back it with a bit of that walnut wrap, and that should tie this whole sort of ensemble in together quite nicely. Yeah. So let's get on and do it. So here's that piece of bracket in the daylight. As you can see, it's okay. It's just very, very dirty inside and out, where it's obviously been in the barn, where I found the rest of it. So let's give her a quick old scrub down now. Simple way. As byproduct of the old coronavirus, we've got loads of this like hand sanitizer. The local hardware store just gives it away because they've got loads and loads of it. Big shout out to Warrior. So this stuff makes excellent perfect English, James. This makes a very nice cleaning solution. Obviously it's got alcohol in it, designed to kill viruses. Woo! And obviously that will take off the dirt on here very nicely. So what we're going to do is grab a load of blue shop roll, stick a load of goo on it, oops, all over there, nothing wrong with that. Give her the old heave-ho wipe in, get it all over the work desk, that helps. Just keep that up in there. And then give her a good rubbing down. Flat. Simple solution. Now, in case you're wondering if everything I do is a bit on the slap dash side, yeah, it is. And that's for two reasons mainly. One is time. You know, I work full time as it is, like most people do. My weekends are precious to me. It's my time to do, you know, the things I want to do. Like normally it means working on the car all day. So my time is precious to me, so I like to work quickly. And the other side of it is the old money, right? Doing a perfect job on things, especially on classic cars, can be a very expensive process. You know, buying components, buying special tools, or if you're the type that takes it to a garage and pays someone else to do it for you, you know, fine. Working on your own car isn't everyone's bag. You know, it's very, very expensive, or it can be expensive. So I like to work quickly, I like to work cheaply, and try and get a half-decent result. As you can tell by looking at my car, it's half-decent at best. So if I can get a half-decent result and I don't want to say on the cheap, I don't want to cheapen my work, but if I can get it done, you know, cheapish, then I'm a happy boy. Right, and just like last time, we've just chopped ourselves out a piece of roofing aluminium. Aluminum. This is the back. We've got an overlap on there. That's going to sit in there like that. Flip her over. That's going to be like that. Got a bit of a ding in that. Oh no, it's not. Bit of gel. And then obviously stick our gauges in. There we go, with our walnut wrap veneer to match the dashboard.
So let's get this attached to the harness, and we're pretty much there. Ta-da! Good enough for council work. So we're just going to clean this leather up, bit of polish, and then that is pretty much done. Yes, that'll do nicely. So we're going to glue that sucker on there. Right, our little clusters are now back in the car. As I say, you've got our little Spitfire badge down there. Boop, just for a bit of fun. Gauges are back in, all hooked up, everything works as it should. And again, we're using that same, again the light keeps flaring the colour out, but it's the same walnut veneer on there, which ties it all in very nicely. The only thing I do need to do is find the appropriate bolts for the bottom there. You can see I've only managed to get one in and it's too long. And that was stiff as hell to get in. Trying to fit that H bracket in on top of that carpet, it's really, really tight. I haven't even needed to bolt it in at the top because it is in there so firmly. If I wanted to get that back out again now, I would have to hammer it back towards me. It's really in there hard. I have to hammer it into place, keep tapping it and then sticking a screwdriver down through the holes to try and find where the threads are. And I have to keep going back and back and back. And like I say, it's in there really tight. I suppose that's not a bad thing if it's supporting the dash, you know, and giving you some kind of structural support between the two. That's not a bad thing. It looks like regular 1/2-inch bolts that go down, but I put a 1/2-inch bolt down. Here's the thing, I keep saying 1/2-inch bolts. Are they 1/2-inch bolts? Am I right in saying that a bolt that has a 1/2-inch head on it, i.e. you need a 1/2-inch socket or spanner, is actually a 3/8 thread? And if that's the case, then what the hell do you call it? Is it a 3/8 bolt or is it a 1/2-inch bolt? I'm not too sure. I know it sounds stupid, but I'm really, really not too sure. Did I say I've actually got some sockets now? I don't know if I did. You'd be proud of me, guys. I actually bought myself a set of Imperial sockets. Only 6 months after I finished restoring the car. Lovely. But yeah, you know, if you, going back to the bolts thing, because my brain is in the old metric mode, because I don't really do Imperial, I know that when it comes to metric, a 10mm bolt head has a 6mm thread. And I think a 13mm bolt head has an 8mm thread. So if you're talking about bolts, you want to order bolts, are you ordering a 10mm bolt or are you ordering a 6mm bolt? I guess you're ordering a 6mm because it's a 6mm thread. The head size is irrelevant. I don't know. But either way, those bolts I was talking about in there, I've used my old 1/2-inch bolts and it just chewed them up. I put one in and it was tight as hell, and I thought, well, that's fine because there's paint in the threads, so I thought, okay, it's going to be tight going in for the first time, that's no bother. So I'm cranking the bastard in and I pulled it back out afterwards, and the threads were just completely squished. You know when you've had something, the threads aren't right and you come out and the threads are all just silver and flat, it's just squished threads? Well, it's done that. So clearly it's not that size, or maybe it is and it's just full of crap. But I haven't got any more bolts in my little box of bolts that fit. Either way, doesn't really matter, does it? I'll figure it out one day. So yeah, I need to find out what size bolts go in there. If you know, let me know. That'll become very handy. If not, I'll have to actually open the Haynes manual or ask online, and you know, you risk all sorts asking questions online. What's next? How many more things can I keep doing to this car? I don't know, it's going to have to end somewhere, isn't it? I'm going to have to stop at some point. Or am I? Do I just keep going? I don't know. Do I get another car? I don't know, I quite like this one. So many unanswered questions. There's at least 2 other things I need to do to this car. Or that I want to do to this car, which will be upcoming videos because I will do them because I'm just like that. The first one is carpets. I'm not happy with the carpets in the car, I never have been. I bought them second hand off some bloke a few miles away. I think they came out of a Mark III, so they're not, you know, they're not right, are they? It's a Mark IV. They've all been cut none of them are the right, you know, they fit okay-ish, but there are cut marks on them, and you know, they're just not very good. It's mainly the driver and passenger carpets, because obviously that's 99% of the car, isn't it? The handbrake cover and the gear stick cover are okay, but the actual carpets inside the footwells, I'll show you, they're just not very good. Probably showed you before, I'll show you again. I mean, look at that. It's bad, isn't it? That one's got a cut there for some reason. It sort of skews off to the side at an angle. Doesn't cover the sills. The other side is even worse. I've got overspray there in the corner of the door. The wiring loom is hanging down there. Clearly that's meant to go inside of the sill, but I did on the outside, so I need to tidy that up. I still need to paint inside the glove box because that looks crap. You know, like I said, the tunnel cover with the handbrake, okay, that's, you know, it's okay. Gear stick cover again, okay, but the two carpets that go in here, I really need to sort those out and stick some carpet on the bits that go up there, because like I say, it sort of spoils the car for me a little bit. When you sort of look at it from this angle, it's quite nice, I think. You know, all like the wood effects and things on the dash and the wheel, I think they're okay, you know. And then obviously you actually get to look inside and you see those carpets. And it's like, oh! So I need to finish off repainting the inside. Obviously when I resprayed the car, I didn't spray the inside of the car. I'd already put the interior of the car in. In an ideal world, I know guys, you know, you don't have to tell me, I know. You know, you strip everything out of the car and you scale it down to a bare shell, you do all your body work. You know, you do all your repair, you do your blocking, your sanding, you spray the whole thing, and then you put it back together from the ground up. Well, I didn't do that. You know, I built it back up, and then spraying was the last thing to do. So the inside of the firewall and everything is black. I haven't painted all of that. And the inside of the car is black as well. I knew I was putting a black interior in the car, so I thought, well, I may as well just paint it black. It will hide it better. If the inside metalwork on the car is white, and then I'm putting black carpets over it, any gaps you get in the carpets is going to show through white, and it's going to look a bit weird. So, you know, didn't want to do that. So I do need to get some new carpets for the insides, and that'll involve taking the seats out as well. So I want to get the seats out, I want to tidy that wiring up, I want to repaint the inside, and just tidy that whole area down in the footwell up, because it's, you know, it's not very good. I've got a few wires hanging down, unused wires, that kind of thing, and I've just sort of poked them back out of the way, really. So it's not perfect, so I need to do that. So that's the first thing, I need to do carpets. And also I'm going to put an electric fan in it as well. The old-fashioned whirly fan attached to the water pump, you know, it's not really, you don't need it for a start. It's counterintuitive, because obviously when you're warming the car up at the start, you know, you're trying to get the water as warm as possible. Now I know the water at this point isn't actually flowing through the radiator, if you want to be specific. You know, the thermostat is closed, there's no water going through the radiator, so it's redundant. But you've still got a fan sucking out the front of the car, blowing cold air over the block. So, and you're trying to warm it up. So that's the first thing. Secondly, obviously it's a hazard. You've got a fan spinning round in there. So, and it's just, there's no cage around it, it just spins around inside. So, you know, I've been leaning over it with my hooded top on before when you've got the laces hanging down. You see, I heard something going tick, tick, tick. What the hell's that? And it's one of my laces hitting the fan. Could have been nasty, right? Don't want that to happen. And also, if you're trying to get in there and use a timing light to actually get down on top of the crank pulley with a timing light, it's damn near impossible with the fan in the way. You can't get right down on top between the radio, you have to sort of look at it from the side, and that's not ideal when you're trying to do timing, is it? Because you're looking at it from the side, you need to be looking at it down, right in line with the timing marks. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass, and obviously you do lose like maybe half a horsepower because you've got something which is creating drag. Obviously the fan is creating drag, it's attached to the crank, so it's leaching power from the crank, so you're going to gain like maybe half a horsepower from removing it as well. Hooray. So what I'm planning on doing is finding an electric fan in a shroud, obviously, and put it actually on the front of the radiator, so it's pushing air through the radiator rather than sucking it through from the back. And obviously that will run from a thermostat which sits in the water line and only comes on when the thermostat opens. I think mine's a 170, 180, 170 I think mine is. So it only comes on at 170. Because again, up until that point, you don't need your fan. It's just pointless having it spinning away in there. It's wasting power, and I don't need it. So yeah, I think what I'll do is see if I'll measure it up. I have had a look online, done a little bit of digging. There's lots of people doing saying different things. I know 1500s come with 2 different size radiators, or is that people taking radiators out of a GT6? I don't know. I think this is the smaller of the radiators. So, in fact, what I should just stop doing is being lazy and actually open the bonnet and measure it. And then if I can just find a generic electric radiator of that size, I can make up some mounting brackets to fit it in, not a problem, and then just buy a thermostatic switch kit, which just, again, sits in the water line behind the thermostat. So as soon as the thermostat opens and water starts flowing back to the radiator, it runs over this temperature sensor. The temperature sensor goes, yes, it's at 170 degrees, better turn that fan on. And at which point, obviously, the fan comes to life, cools the water going through the radiator. You can also put a separate override switch in on the dash, which some people do, which also seems like a good idea, which just, again, directly wires the fan to the battery. So if for some reason your thermostatic switch stops working, you're driving along and you can see your temperature climbing up and you're thinking, oh shit, why didn't the fan come on? You haven't got to stop, pull over and investigate. You can just flick this switch and it'll automatically kick the fan into life. That seems like a reasonably good idea, right? And it's a simple bit of wiring, so, you know, maybe I'll do that. And I need to clear the wiring up inside there as well. It's a little bit all over the place. You know, it's definitely not a show car under the bonnet. It looks okay, but it's not amazing. So I need to tidy that up as well. So there are still a few things left to do with it, with the old girl. There's at least another 2 videos in there somewhere. Where we go after that, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. We'll have a look. So yeah, still a couple more things to come. And again, up until that point, as always, thank you all very much for watching. Any questions, any comments, let me know down below. I always try and get down and answer them, or just, you know, give you a thumbs up just to let you know you're not being ignored. I do appreciate any feedback. I've learned a lot from your guys' feedback already. People go, no mate, that's upside down, or no, why didn't you do the so-and-so? And I go, yeah, I don't know. So again, I am thankful for the input for people who have these cars and know more about them than I do. As I've always said from the beginning, I am learning. I am very much a novice. I am not an expert by any means. I'm learning as I go, as I've done since day one when I rolled the car in here. So yeah, it's a learning experience for me. Hence why I've always called my videos amateur restoration. It's always amateur, it's me. It's not one of these in the garage, up on a 4-post lift with, you know, 10 acres of space around it, a crew of 12 people with, you know, airlines set up and chests full of tools. I don't have that. Most people don't have that. Garages have that. Of course they do. They do it for a living. That's what they do. But I don't have that. You know, it's me and my my Halford's toolkit. Me and this little toolkit. We've done the entire car with my Halford's toolkit, which was a present from my wife, a birthday present. So 150 quid toolkit, whatever it was, and a few spanners. And they're all metric, by the way. It wasn't until later on when I actually had the foresight to get my Imperial spanners and recently my Imperial sockets. So, you know, so we've done a lot of work. You know, we put a lot of graft in on her. Yeah. So anyway, I'll shut up. Thanks as always. See you next time. Take it easy, guys.